And then, just in conclusion, um, after speaking about all of this, what is your vision then for Namibia? And then, in future, maybe, can we also see Namibia featuring in one of your
Yeah,
books?
in my book, Beyond the World of Titans and the Remaking of World Orders, I have provided more than 120 different visions of the future. That is only one of them. I have not spoken the other 119, but I'll talk about this one as you just asked. I talk about the future of Africa, especially in relation to African Union. I do think that there is a good promise for that, but there are a lot of challenges. But 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 it is something that Africa has to confront. But again, there is a value judgment here. This question is very heavily charged with value judgment. So I cannot answer the question without going too further to a certain point that to tell you about the ideological contamination. And that is, I want you to be very careful. So this is something that Africa has to answer the question, not someone from the outside. Again, I can only give you the framework, but I don't want to go deeper inside, because the deeper I go inside, I get trapped into the thing that I do not want me to get inside. Because the more you get into it, now you are siding with one group against the other group. Just like the one that you are talking about, people shouting and say, oh, China is bad, 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 colonizer and all that. As soon as you join them, you are part of the ideological conflict and politics. You are doing dirty politics yourself. So I'm a visionary, I have to get out of this, but I can only give you the framework. I think that the future of Africa in that sense can be tied up with the African Union, but also with the rise of China. Like it or not, China will be the future dominant superpower on earth, not America anymore. In terms of purchasing power parity, China has the largest economy in the world right now. The rise of China will tie up also with the future of Africa. So that's why you like it or not, you have to understand the historical forces. Blaming is very easy, but it's not solving your problem. I also noted, because this, I want to mention this too, even though people don't like to talk about that on TV. I do think that Africa has an inferiority complex. And that's very important to talk about this in front of the TV. People are shy to talk about it. If you talk about it, then you are sexist or racist or whatever is that they can put some words on you. You have to confront that. Unless you confront that question, then you will not find your African identity and renaissance that I said that you should have. And therefore, the future of Africa is also tied up with that confrontation. This is very important for Africa to understand, that you can blame China for everything you like, but at the end, China will be there. You will have to deal with that, because it will not be the US, it will not be EU, it will be China, which will become the dominant power on earth. You cannot escape that. So instead of just blaming them, you have to confront the reality and see how you can do such that it can benefit you.
And even how you can learn from them.
I was interviewed, let's say, in Eastern Europe. In one of the interview, a woman asked me, what is the future of Moldova? You know Moldova in Eastern Europe. And because the question is because they are afraid of Russia. But on the other hand, they want to join NATO and the EU. But I warn them that if you get away from one dominant power, go to another dominant power, you too will be part of that dominant power, and you will have the same problem again. And then she said, so what should we do? If we go to Russia, we don't like it. Now, if I go to the EU or NATO, you said that there could be danger. So what should we do? And then my advice to them is that, think about this. If I'm a more small guy, if I have two big guys in front of me, one of them is trying to punch me, the other one is trying to punch me too, but I cannot fight either of them because they are too big. What should I do? For my own survival, I need to manipulate two of them. I cannot be saying, I join you and then I fight, and then this guy will punch me all the time. If I join you and fight, and this guy will punch me. So I try to unite the two of them. In such a way, I play with them. It will benefit me maximally. But at the same time, I don't want to be part of any of them. If I do it because I'm a small guy, then I could be hurt more than they get hurt because they are too big for me. You see the analogy, the same thing for Africa. So stop blaming, find the solutions. Find the solution. Blaming is part of the African inferiority complex. You have to get away from it. Look at the Chinese. People keep telling me this is. I was in another interview and they asked me. He said that, well, you cannot ignore the Western colonial history in Africa. I said, I do not ignore that. I'm from the West. How can I ignore the history? But I'm saying, look, stop blaming the colonial powers because look at Hong Kong and Singapore. I said, do you know that Hong Kong and Singapore used to be the British colonies? Do you know that? And they were Chinese. Now, Singapore and Hong Kong has higher income per capita than the UK. Is among the highest income per capita in the world. Singapore and Hong Kong is also one of the major financial centers in the entire world. Not even many European countries can compare with that. Now, they do that because they don't blame the British. They learn from that, they say, we can do better. So why do you not just do the same thing and keep blaming the European powers for your own problems, and now they're blaming the Chinese for that. Next time, maybe you blame whom? Maybe you should blame God for that. But that's not the end either, but after that, you maybe someone else. Yes. Now, I heard they blame the government for the problem too. I think the government is part of the problem, but it's not the major problem here. So stop blaming. Find the solution. And try to see how you can make yourself more powerful. Because blaming is the more you blame, the more you will sink. Because you stop thinking about the solutions. You need to be is your power of your mind here. That the more you think like that, that means that you have inferiority complex, and you cannot get away from. This is a psychological problem too, by the way. Unfortunately, this is part of the mental problem that Africans have because of the history. But I think about it. Before the European came, whom do you blame? You were also like that too. They say, so the European did not cause all your problems. Africa was like that even before the European came. How come you did not conquer the Europeans? How come the Europeans conquer you? Can you see the problem here? Because they were much more advanced than you were. That's why they were able to conquer. And you did not conquer them because you were not that advanced. Now, whom do you blame before that? Maybe you should blame, I don't know whom you should blame, that God created you like that. Maybe, I don't know.